I'm sure you've heard by now that Jussie turned himself in yesterday morning around 5 a.m. He basically had to sit in jail until his bond hearing, which was set at $100,000. That meant he had to pay about $10,000 to be released. He also had to give up his passport in the meantime. And I guess he has another court date pending. Now, there was a lot of fanfare, a lot of press. It took over the airwaves yesterday. I have to be honest, I didn't even watch it. I could not. I couldn't watch it. I couldn't watch it until last night. I just happened to be turning. I was trying to catch the weather on one of my channels, and I just so happened. Of course, they started talking about it. I'm like, this is a national. What I was looking at was national news, and of course, they brought it up, and I'm just thinking, oh my goodness, here we go again. This has definitely taken over TV all day, when there were other things that they definitely could have been talking about. Now, as the details come out, it still gets more and more bizarre. They talked about the reasons why he did it. They also mentioned, of course, that he wrote a check to the guys, which I think, that's what's making me think that maybe there is something wrong with Jussie, that maybe there is some kind of mental break, because who would write a $3,500 check to people that's supposed to beat you up and participate in your supposed crime? I'm just thinking, like, did Jussie want to get called? I don't know. It's just very bizarre. But all of that being said, I am still very disheartened by what I've been witnessing online. I mean, Facebook, Instagram, those are the only two things, social media platforms I actually have. I am really, really disturbed by Black people right now. And you got to hear me out here. It bothers me to hear our people pretty much ready to execute this man over what I like to call a victimless crime. Now, some of you may feel like there is a victim involved. To me, it is a victimless crime. He himself has just ruined his life. He has ruined his life. And nobody technically got hurt in the process, because you have to understand something. Chicago police was hip to it from the beginning. They knew from the beginning. They were just piecing together the things. They knew there was no victim. Trust me on that. They knew early on there was no victim in this supposed thing. So honestly, who got hurt from it? He hurt himself. And yet you have the superintendent of Chicago Police Department on there, expressing his disgust. You have the mayor of Chicago expressing his disgust. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm disgusted with y'all. I'm disgusted with the fact that you had over 20 detectives on this case. And all these people out here, these parents out here whose kids have been killed, murdered on the streets of Chicago, can't even get a call back. I have a friend I went to high school with. Her son was murdered in March of 2017. She got online yesterday and she was just like, you know what? I call them almost every 2 weeks and they can never tell me nothing. They don't know nothing. They'll get back to me. They don't call back. And yet they spent all this manpower and resources on this one guy who they knew were lying from the get-go. That just tells me one thing about Chicago police. They can solve crimes if they really, really want to. See, this crime, they didn't want to look stupid. So they got on this and they was on this early on. But all this other stuff, you got people out here now. I also saw another statistic yesterday, and I want you guys to listen in on this. In the city of Chicago, they say about 83% of fatalities go unsolved. 83% of homicides go unsolved in the city of Chicago. And about 94% of shooting incidents go unsolved. That means that if there are 83% of homicides that go unsolved, you got a good 17% of, basically 17% of these are solved, and you have basically a whole bunch of murderers out in the street still murdering. All right, you got 83% of homicides that go unsolved. That means you got a whole lot of killers out there on the street, and y'all spending all your time on one guy. And let me say this too, for all these people getting online saying, well, he set us back. Now they're never going to believe us. Now nobody's going to. Well, news flash for you. People that believed in Donald Trump and all that MAGA shit and all that, they never believed y'all. They never believed in police brutality. They never believed in race. They don't even think racism exists. They don't believe in homophobic hate crimes. They never believed in that. So to me, this didn't move the needle. It didn't. They never believed you anyway. So all these people saying, you honestly think that Jussie Smollett came along and in a month's time changed everything? Now nobody believes anything. They weren't believing you before. So that didn't start with him. They didn't believe you before. A part of me just feel like we should just get on code about this. Just get on code. And because this morning, I was watching the ABC 7 app on my phone, and the newscaster, you know what she called? She said, accused felon. I have never heard them talk about anybody else like that. And in the meantime, your president didn't even mention the fact that there's a guy who had all these arsenals, all these weapons. He was planning to kill a whole bunch of people. He had a whole attack plan for a bunch of Democrats. He was going to kill a whole line of people. And not once did y'all president tweet about that yesterday, but he had all the words for Jussie. And I knew that was going to happen. We knew that was going to happen. But it's just amazing to me how we have allowed ourselves to be swayed by that. Like people want to hang this guy. I mean, my goodness, he only ruined himself. He really only ruined himself. We've got to stop this. All right. There's more important fish to fry here. And I was at work yesterday and one of my white coworkers was like, oh, did you see about Jussie? And I feel a certain type of way when white people talk to me about stuff like this. I didn't even engage in her because I just couldn't. I don't know how y'all feel, but I feel weird when white people bring up black people to me. I just do. I just do. So anyway, I just wanted to express those thoughts because I'm a little frustrated with my people right now. You got everybody chiming in. You got Cardi B chiming in. I mean, come on, stop. Seriously. Let's do better, y'all. Let's do better. He is human. He did something stupid. He will pay for it.